Introducing MindLink, a revolutionary device that claims to let humans read each other's thought instantly. Imagine never having to guess whether your friend is telling the truth, your teacher is planning a surprise quiz, or even what your crush really thinks about you. With just one scan, it promises to understand emotion, reveal hidden thoughts, and eliminate misunderstandings. It sounds like the future of communication. But before you rush to buy one, let's stop and ask ourselves one important question. What if human could actually read minds? Is our brain capable of sending thoughts directly into another person's brain? To answer these questions, we first need to understand how our nervous system really communicates. The secret lies in tiny specialized cells called neurons and the way they transmit nerve impulses. Our nervous system contains billions of neurons that work together every second of our life. These specialized cells carry messages throughout our body, allowing us to think, move, feel pain, remember information, and respond to our surroundings. Without neurons, our brain would never be able to communicate with the rest of the body. Each neuron has several important parts. The dendrites receive incoming information, the cell body processes the information, and the axon carries the nerve impulse away from the cell body. At the end of the axon is the axon terminal, where the message is prepared before being passed to the next neuron. Whenever your brain sends a message, the nerve impulse travels as an electrical signal. This electrical impulse moves quickly from the dendrites through the cell body and along the axon until it reaches the axon terminal. However, the message cannot continue directly to the next neuron because there is a tiny gap separating them. This tiny gap is called the synapse or synaptic cleft. Since an electrical impulse cannot jump across this space, the body needs another way to continue the message. This is where one of the biology's most fascinating communication processes begins. When the electrical impulse reaches the axon terminal, voltage-gated calcium ion channels open. Calcium ions move into the axon terminal, triggering tiny sacs called synaptic vesicles to move towards the membrane. These vesicles contain important chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. The synaptic vesicles fill with the membrane and release neurotransmitters into the synaptic cleft. These tiny chemical messengers diffuse across the gap, carrying the information from one neuron to the next. When the neurotransmitter reaches the next neuron, they bind to specific receptors on the postsynaptic membrane. These interactions allows the receiving neuron to continue the message by generating another electrical impulse. As soon as the receptors are activated, a new electrical impulse is produced in the second neuron. This means the signal has successfully continued its journey. In simple terms, the impulse changed from an electrical signal to a chemical signal and then back into an electrical signal again. This entire process is known as the transmission of an impulse across a synapse. It happens continuously throughout our nervous system every single second, allowing different parts of the body to communicate quickly and efficiently. Now, let's return to our original question. What if humans could really read minds? If that were possible, our thoughts would somehow need to leave our brain, travel through the air, and enter another person's brain. However, based on what we have just learned, This cannot happen naturally. Nerve impulses only travel within neurons, while communication between neurons depends on neurotransmitter crossing an extremely tiny synaptic cleft. There is no biological pathway that allows thoughts to travel through the air from one brain to another. This means that even though our brain is incredibly powerful, it is designed to communicate only within our own nervous system. The process of synaptic transmission is highly efficient, but it cannot transmit our thoughts wirelessly to another person. Although true mind reading is impossible, scientists have developed technologies such as electroencephalography or EEG and brain-computer interfaces that can detect electrical activity in the brain. These technologies help researchers study brain function and even assist patients with certain medical conditions. However, these technologies cannot actually read a person's thoughts or memories. They only detect patterns of brain activity, which is very different from understanding exactly what someone is thinking. So, for now, mind reading remains an exciting idea found only in science fiction. In conclusion, the answer to our question is no. Humans cannot naturally read minds. By understanding how neurons communicate through synapses using electrical impulses and neurotransmitters, we can see why this idea is scientifically impossible. Sometimes, asking imaginative "what if" questions help us appreciate how amazing the human body really is. Thank you for watching.